Once again, thank you very much for joining Ask Chuck webcast. Each week that the Senate's in session, we do this. We'll have at least this week and one more week before we adjourn for our August summer break, which will take us through Labor Day. I'll be in Iowa most of that period of time. It could be we may not get out of here on August the 5th as planned because of the deficit reduction and debt increase ceiling that we have to work on. But I sure hope we do, because I think it'd be a catastrophic situation if we don't get some agreement done, and particularly to get the deficit down, because that's got a great deal to do with the uncertainty in our economy, and that uncertainty is leading a lot of big businesses and small businesses not to create jobs, and obviously we want to create jobs. I thank you very much for sending in your questions by email, by Twitter, or by Facebook, and I always answer a couple questions on my webcast, and the others will answer either by email or by postal mail. Thank you very much for participating. I'll go to the first question. It comes from Sean of Altoona. Quote, what are the specific voiced objections the Democrats have against cut, cap, and balance? And do you believe any can be persuaded to see it as the best choice for America? End of quote. I believe the last part of your question is easier to answer than the first part, from this standpoint, that I don't believe you're going to get any Democrats to vote for a constitutional amendment requiring a balanced budget. No, I shouldn't say that. You won't get enough Democrats to vote for a constitutional amendment requiring a balanced budget because we have to get 20. Some may vote for it, but it takes a 2/3 vote to get it passed, so 47 Republicans, it takes 20 Democrats to get to 67. On cut and cap, quite frankly, they believe that government ought to spend more, not less, and capping it where you'd have a policy where a certain level of expenditures, if it was exceeded, you would then have automatic across-the-board cuts. They don't want that discipline, and so that's why they have voted against cut, cap, and balance. Obviously, they know that there's got to be some cutting, but they would like to see this done in 3 different parts. Cut, which they might do some, less than what the Republicans want to do. Cap, probably not very many of them would be for an outright cap across-the-board cuts if that cap is exceeded. And I just said that they don't believe in the discipline of a constitutional amendment to the federal budget, or a federal constitution requiring a balanced budget. Second question comes from Rick. He emails, quote, I'm deeply concerned about the possible elimination of the mortgage interest deduction in the current debt ceiling debate, and encourage you to object to its elimination. It feels like another assault on the American dream. It could very definitely be an assault on the American dream if we keep marginal tax rates where they are and just eliminate that deduction. But you usually don't get talk about reducing or eliminating the deduction unless you are going to very dramatically reduce marginal tax rates. And of course, the more you reduce the marginal tax rates, the less any deduction is worth. So, Rick, I would suggest that you push a pencil and try to figure out whether, if you're in the 35% tax bracket with the full deduction, that you might not be better off with a 17% tax rate and not have the deduction, or somewhere's in between where it'd be a little bit less with a lower marginal tax rate. But I see no effort to do away with the mortgage deduction without a very dramatic reduction in tax rates. I thank you both, Rick and Sean, for your participation in this questioning, and I usually end these webcasts by a prediction of what's going to be done this week in the United States Senate, but it's very difficult for me to predict that outside of the fact that today we're going to be voting on the confirmation of some district court judges. But beyond that, Senator Reid has not put anything before the United States Senate, at least at this point, so I don't know what the main issue will be up this week. I invite you to email, tweet, or Facebook questions to me next week. Thank you very much for participating.